My beats by Dre, play beats by Ben Wade. Looking good in my own brand. Might drop screens and watch Homeland. Might go kamikaze when I'm in the mix. Might just take a pic while this song playing.
Check 1, 2.
Freestyle, real
Clean, hold up, drop the top, swinging down, killing it. I hit the sky.
Keep missing the goddamn exit, I know that.
Right.
Right back at it, inDmix podcast for this week. Current date is July 25th.
Right.
2019. Birthday shouts out to Umeme. But I got my boy Junior Martin in the building. Appreciate you coming through.
Anytime.
Arguably the hottest promoter in the city. Took a lot to get you here, but I appreciate you making time because I know you have a full busy schedule, man. I appreciate you coming on here. Not even wasting time. We're going right into it.
Let's get it.
Let's talk about your journey from where you started and to get here. When did you start throwing parties, or when did you start your journey as a promoter?
I mean, journey as a promoter goes pretty far back with, my brother and my sister who was throwing Nigerian parties back in the day. Yeah, you remember? You forgot NBE.
Oh, that's right. With Ute and all of that.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's when my journey actually began. So.
I promoted for y'all. I remember that. NBE.
Right, NBE was the beginning. So it started from there, and then, my brother left, and he went to dental school. My sister left. She went to pharmacy school, and everybody else kind of left. Everybody went to medical school.
Right. So that had to be pressure from Nigerian parents on you. Be like, I want to do this party thing.
Right. So, I just, I kept it going, and, I really didn't know what direction to go in. But, college, it was my second year of college, whatever. And, I heard about a group named LaFamilia that was doing these crazy parties. So, of course.
Who was in LaFamilia?
Back then, it was Ivan, Earl,
and
Jonathan. Those were the guys doing it back then.
They were doing parties first.
Wow. So it was a good. What happened was Earl left. So Earl left and he went to school in Atlanta.
Gotcha.
So when Earl left and he went to school in Atlanta, it was just Jonathan and Ivan. So they kept it going.
Earl T?
Yeah.
Really? He was part of that? That's why. I didn't know that.
Yeah, that was the original person who came up with the whole
concept and party.
Yeah, and
that's why he's good. I always understood why Earl's so good everywhere, man.
That's his thing,
Gotcha.
So, I'm not sure who sat down
and got you. That's the conversation I have with Jonathan. I got you. No doubt.
He was definitely one of the
I thought y'all came up together. I didn't know they were doing parties first. I remember Toke Thursdays.
Right.
Was there? So y'all did single parties.
Right. That was
the first weekly.
Toke came after they were already doing it. They was just doing one-offs.
Got you.
So it was one-offs, and then we all came up with the ideal of let's just do weeklies. But Jonathan and them didn't really want to do weeklies. They wanted the
one-off parties.
Right. It was, and it made more sense because they were banging out 3,000 people at a time, and it was a different concept.
You knew you had to go.
Right. So, I was, hey, Jonathan, I really think it's a good idea if we, if we did this. So, let me put this on.
Nah, you good.
Mute. I apologize.
All good, brother. That's crazy. I didn't even know that. I thought y'all came up together, but you saw them. How did y'all partner?
Man, I just reached out. I went up there and I would reach out to them.
If they're the ones running stuff, why do they have to ask you on?
Right. I mean, this is like my first year of pledging, so it was like, I hear the stories now. It's like, man, there's some Omega dude who keeps reaching out to us, but they were kind of like. I ain't really want to do it either. But, I just stayed on top of them, kept meeting with them. And, I brought something to the table. Like I would go, get a night somewhere or just come up with a concept and I present it to them and say that, hey, I think it's a good idea. And I think
so that's where you came into play.
Right.
LaFamilia was already doing parties.
Right.
And then you reached out to them to collaborate to do stuff, right?
Yeah.
So.
They were a little hesitant.
Because I'm thinking if they're running it, why do we need to? Were you with Johnny Dang then?
I was with Johnny. So
so you brought value. You brought a different feel. Okay, now that makes sense.
Yeah, it was like diamond rings, diamond earrings.
Giveaways.
Like,
I
yo,
remember
let's
the
put it on the
giveaways.
flyer
I remember
and
he
stuff
will
like that.
come,
Right.
and they'll stop the music. And
Correct.
Let's talk about that relationship. How did you hook up with Johnny? Because you had to learn a lot from
man,
there.
I definitely, I learned how to save my money. I learned how to invest because I remember Johnny always talking about, like, hey, man, I could buy this car if I wanted to, or I could buy this if I wanted to. But he was like, he wanted to reinvest his money, and that's how he kept growing. He would invest his money, whether it cost him money to get on a video shoot, or if it cost him money to get an artist, jewelry, just building the awareness of his brand meant so much. And that's it kind of goes back to all the stuff that really doesn't matter. So, we would always, we'll be in Miami, we would be, in New Orleans, wherever, but he would always, we'll have late night conversations, and he'll just tell me about his life. And, this is Johnny. He's probably, 34, 35 at this time. So he's young, Johnny Dang.
But I got to give you props because I know he's worked with a lot of people, but I didn't know this Johnny till you.
Right.
Like, you brought him on the scene.
Definitely, I played a huge role in the whole grills and
all of that, right? We went to U of H with Paul Wall, so I know all that happened just shortly after that.
Right. So, I played the marketing role on that, so it was like, yo, Johnny, that's LeBron James. We need to get a grill on him,
Got you.
Yo, Johnny, that's Gucci. We need to be in the next Gucci video.
You knew the people that he needed to work with and do this stuff. Because he knows, but you're the real
He didn't really know.
He didn't know.
No,
See,
he
that's
didn't really know.
Right.
Johnny's straight from Vietnam.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Shouts out to Johnny Dan.
Yeah,
but I digress. That's
for
dope.
sure.
You team up with Jonathan and him. What's the first party y'all did?
First party we ever did was at Grasshopper.
I remember that.
Yeah, Grasshopper. We all went home with like $6,000 a piece.
Damn.
I went home with $6,000, and I don't know what they went home, but $6,000 was probably equivalent to going home with like 20 grand.
20 grand right now.
Yeah, so
you know what I mean. And this is when the clubs were taking like their cut.
Right.
Because if you did 18 and up, the club had to get at least 20%.
100 for sure. They were hitting us for everything.
Right,
for sure.
So let's start back to the collaboration with LaFamilia. So you're working with TV Johnny. You have the perks that you have that you can bring to the party, and the first party that you guys do together is at
Grasshopper.
Grasshopper.
So I just get done. I was just done doing the whole Nigerian events, but back then Nigerians wasn't cool to say.
It wasn't even cool to say it. I'm gonna talk about the impact of Nigerian culture and nightlife in Houston.
For sure. So it was around that time, but basically it was just me staying consistent with Jonathan and Ivan, and kind of letting them know that
bring something to the table.
Right. And I think after a while it just kind of became the thing, because at first we were talking, we'd be like, yo, we're gonna do this event, then I'll look up on the internet and they just dropped a whole nother flyer, and I wasn't part of it. So but I understood what it was, I understood that they didn't really need me, and I was at that time I was really grateful,
just for the opportunity.
Right.
And it's kind of like pledging you to see if you were worth. To be brought in.
And I just, I stuck around long enough to where it was just, that's kind of, it just ended up being that. It was no time where we was just like, hey, this is what we're gonna do. It's just eventually,
Were you guys watching what Steve and Lisa were doing at the time? Because you guys were right up the street, like, or y'all just doing y'all thing, like.
We seen it, but I don't think it was like, it was kind of like two different lanes,
True.
I think it was totally different. Back when you're familiar, when we was doing inDmix, college parties, we had it popping.
It was crazy. Greek parties, and actually, your parties was the beginning of the downturn of fraternity parties.
Right, exactly.
I don't even know if people knew this. But the fraternity parties were the parties.
Right.
When the Kappas did the party, when the Alphas did the party, the Omegas, the Sigmas, when they did the parties on campus, it was understood. But when the people became popular, then it was like, hey, we the ones
throwing the high parties.
wave.
And, you know, a lot of college students didn't necessarily want to go to events where they had to be, you know,
part of an organization.
Well, you know, the Greeks were bumping them. You really,
Right.
you didn't really get to, you know, do your thing if you weren't Greek.
Right.
You know,
so we took all the shine.
You took all the shine. So
Absolutely.
this gave the people who weren't Greek an opportunity to still come and do their thing. So that's what we came in.
That's crazy. I didn't even think about that till now.
Right. And I remember one time, you know, we threw the Alphas, you know, decided to throw a party against us, and we got them. You know, that's when, and you know, nobody could.
Nobody,
not
with the Alphas,
ever. Not the U of H
ever.
Alpha. So we threw this one party, and obviously, you know, we were looking like, damn, what's gonna happen? But we ended up, you know, killing them.
After that, you can't even tell you
good.
nothing.
Yeah. So
okay, so you guys grow. Where does A Life originate from? Because in my head, I'm like, they probably had like 3 or 4 names, and this is the one that they went with. How does that grow?
Man, I couldn't think of a name, man. Honestly, I was like thinking of a name. I was trying to come up with a name for myself.
Gotcha.
You know, and I couldn't think of like, hey, what am I gonna call like my, you know, company exactly. So, you know, I was, you know, talking to Jonathan about it, and he was like, man, you know, I had this name called Aristocratlife, you know.
Jonathan came up with that.
Jonathan had the name Aristocratlife.
Right.
So, you know, and then I was
that's
like,
dope, Jonathan. Good to know. I like knowing these things.
I was like, yo, give it to me. He was like, nah. You know?
You're asking him for it,
I was like, well, let me, because he wasn't doing nothing with it. He just had it.
So
you
know
know
like,
let
me and you
let
collab?
me have it. Let me just give it to me, because I was just gonna use, because they had LaFamilia at that time.
Gotcha.
Right. So it was. I was like, yo, give it. But he was like, nah. You know, I want it too.
I got this hot name, and you know when something is hot, because you could have came up with another name,
right?
But the name was so dope, you were like, nah, I want that one
for sure. And definitely once you read into it and you see the true meaning of Aristocratlife and aristocrat, and you see what it means, and you know, I think it was at that time it was a perfect name for us. So I was like, yo, let's rock. And then you know, we just all decided that this was gonna be the name that we used to define us. You know, whenever we did events
and who was us? Who was A Life? I see it all the time, but I want to know the true members or
well, you know,
well,
I mean, let's say this. You know, the guys who started A Life from the beginning was, you know, Lennon, Ivan, Lennon, Jacob, Jonathan, and me.
Okay, gotcha.
You know, those were like 4. 4. Is that 4 or 5?
Jonathan, Junior, Lyndon, Jacob. Yeah, that's 4.
And then, you know, we had Woody. He came along.
I knew I was missing somebody. I'm like, to me, it's like 5. Like,
but that was
so.
like,
Woody came later.
Yeah, Woody came later down. He was also doing his thing. I think at that time he was working under Kurt. You know, him and Sid were doing their thing under Kurt. So Woody was actually somebody that we, you know, kind of brought on.
Woody is the bridge to everybody.
Right.
Like, I see y'all work with Goodfellas, but I think that really happened because Woody had a good relationship.
Yeah, Woody was over there working with them. I mean, he still kind of does his own thing just because, you know, he
has so many, he knows so many
exactly, people. For sure. So, I mean, you know, and I encourage everybody to, you know, branch out and you know,
do whatever. You have this core,
right?
But everybody could do their thing.
For sure. You know, and I do it, and, you know, everybody should. So, that's it.
That's dope. That's dope. Now let's fast forward, because you get hot now. You're the hot promoter out there. Y'all are the hot promoters, and the collaboration with Jas. How does that happen? Because I think that was a turning point from just being a promoter that everybody knew to a whole another ascension.
Right. To be honest with you, I mean, we were always cool, and I think, you know, we did that first Drake party together. That
concert was so major for Houston.
Right.
I don't really think people understand the after effects of what that concert did.
100. And I remember even just seeing Jas with the whole, you know, is you know, just seeing this whole situation with Drake and him meeting him.
The growth of Jas, the growth of A Life, the growth of Junior, the growth of Houston, the growth of Drake.
Right. It all happened
like in one converging point. Right.
You know, so you know, he came to me and was like, "Yo, we're gonna do this concert."
He could have gone to anybody.
Right.
He came to you.
Right. And then he was like, "And we're gonna do this after party," and we did the after party right across the street, literally from Warehouse Live. Next, so we did the concert sold out, and then everybody's coming across the street. So Jas is walking with the whole rap lot. Drake is like 100 people literally crossing the street, and it was just so crazy. I don't even think I had the opportunity to even go inside the party to see how it went, because
were trying to control
the door. It was just crazy. So, but it was a great opportunity, and that just kicked off the whole Junior Jas A-Life relationship.
Which blossomed into so many more events that I could talk about, but I'm not even going to go into. Big wins and losses when you start doing all these parties, like, what was a clear win where you didn't believe how much you just made with this party or this event?
Right. Well, let me tell you this. My biggest event today was, Andre Johnson's 30th birthday.
Wow.
It was one, I definitely wasn't in a position to do his 30th birthday. It was his biggest birthday ever.
Right.
But his uncle met me and took liking to me and was like, hey.
So that's another relationship we had that didn't even have any influence. This is just Junior being Junior and him gravitating towards you.
And he just took like and said, hey, you know what? I want to see you shine. Like, I want to see you win on this. And I was scared as shit to do it because I didn't. We rented out a hotel. Derek,
I remember it.
Crazy. I've never done an event like that ever. So I didn't even know who to call. But he was real big on, him wanting to see me do well, and he cut me a check right then and there. He was like, yo, meet me off at 59 and Kirby. I'm not going to say how much it was, but I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it.
He cut you the check before the event, or he
cut
me
the
check
after before the event.
Wow.
He was like, yo, here's the money.
Here's your lick right here.
Here you go.
Wow, that is dope. So, and still, you guys have that good relationship.
If he calls me anytime, I have to.
You are right there at his mercy.
Yeah.
Shouts out to
Uncle Dre for sure.
That's
Andre
dope.
Johnson too. Appreciate the love.
Anybody else who you work with that helped you see any promoters that you work with, out of Houston, that showed you like a different light to the game?
Man, honestly, to be honest with you, all of them, from working with, Rob and Steve, to working with Lisa, to working with, Candy and Kurt,
Gotcha.
I honestly, like, I've learned something from all of them. It was it was an honor to work with them, especially coming from the 18 and up market. These were the guys controlling the market at the time. So, to get that call to come on to this event was, it was an opportunity for sure.
That's dope. Now, your journey into ownership and entrepreneurship, how long are you doing parties and being successful to where you're like, man, I want to open this building. Where does that spark start?
Man, honestly, it happened more out of necessity. It was more like, yo.
You wanted more.
Well, it needed to be done, and nobody had the same vision. So it was like, the only way I'm going to get this done is if I do it myself.
Stop right there, because I want to give you props just for doing it.
Appreciate it.
I told you, that's major.
Right.
Because what I've seen was everybody just stayed in the promoter realm.
Right.
And they didn't trust the people enough.
Right.
Because people weren't loyal. They were loyal to you. Once a new spot opens up, they bolt.
Yeah.
But you knew that you had the people, or it was a gamble on your part
For
that
sure.
you could control the people to come to.
I mean, I'm always big on, if you create a great product, the people will come.
Nurture it, right?
Yeah. So
how we doing on time, boss? We good? All right, cool.
So, I mean, and to me, that's the biggest thing, even with a lot of concepts that I see people, create and open, is like, you can't half-ass it. You can't, make bullshit and try and call it gold, and then you want people to support it. So it's like, yo, make it gold and then present it to the people, and then they'll come support it.
Feed into it.
Right.
So, Toke Thursdays, then I remember Butterfly Lounge Saturdays.
Yeah, that was
that was dope. This is downtown, way downtown. From there, you do what? If you remember.
From there, we kind of, after, because Butterfly was the day where we was transitioning, coming from 21 and up, from 18 and up to 21 and up. So we really didn't know what to do,
so how to handle that.
So
you did Empire.
We did Empire.
Part ownership. Was that your taste of ownership?
That was our first project that we went into.
That's what I keep thinking that it's Prospect Park, but you actually owned Empire.
Empire was the first project that we went into. So, it was
Who did you work with on that? Was it Z or somebody else?
Nah, it was some guys, man, I forgot their names, but it was two Hispanic guys, and they was just, Jonathan was driving around, and we were looking for a building, and he said, man, I found these dudes, it's a building, and, I pitched them our idea, which we said, hey, we're going to buy in. So they were just sitting on it, they ain't had nothing going on no night, right. So we went in there, and, we generated like $50,000, and we went in there and just fixed whatever.
The whole place out.
Yeah, we did whatever we could, at that time.
And that was profitable.
That was profitable.
Gotcha.
That was a win for us.
Got it. So you learned from that. Now
right.
you're doing Wednesdays at Scott Gertner's.
We're doing Wednesdays at Scott Gertner's.
Right.
So Wednesdays at Scott Gertner's is killing. Scott loses Sky Bar, and he comes up with this whole concept to create Scott's Pavilion.
Right.
Right.
I remember that.
Yeah, and so when we talk about biggest losses, that was me and Jonathan's biggest loss.
Wow! So y'all went in with him.
We invested in there,
and that was so short lived. Beautiful building,
right?
But the price on there had to be expensive.
Man, it was probably over. It was almost $3 million invested into that project. Literally, it was $3 million. I think it lasted for about a year.
Right.
But at that time, like me and Jonathan both took all the money we had saved up and we brought it to the table and we we invested and we lost every single penny
that you put in there.
Every penny.
So it's prospect like this is. How did you get into it?
Man, it's part of the game. The part of the game is you win and you lose. So even when we lost, we just kind of dusted off our shoulders.
That had to be tough because
it was.
This is you've accrued all this and you put it right back in it, and it sounded good. Like I can imagine that you thought it was about to be
all
the dopest
business
thing.
plans. It was hey, you're gonna be making X amount of dollars.
Yeah.
We had lawyers and everybody was in the building.
All of that.
Lost everything, and that's why like when people come with business plans and shit like that, I mean, it's cool, but it's all bullshit projections on what you think.
You cannot know.
You know what I'm saying?
Until you
actually
turn
get into
on.
it. Right. So, business plans are cool. I get it. I understand, why you need them, but, a lot of times there's a lot of bullshit.
Right. I got to give you props on this, okay? I'll give y'all props on it, the creators of Prospect Park. I was going to Scott Gertner's.
Right.
I saw the Wednesday night. I saw what it was.
Right.
So when you guys bought into it, changed it, built it up, built out, I'm like, they're going to do the same thing.
Right.
But the courage, the temperament, the genius to sway away from that and to just build out the different concept for the
right. And to be honest with you, I think that's just the collaboration that me and Jonathan have. It's kind of a yin and a yang. Did
somebody want to keep doing the club thing, and somebody said, no, we really need to do this.
Exactly. But me and him both, we share the same vision, so we kind of knew what it was. So we wanted to present a new product to the city, and it was actually, we was trying to partner up with Scott Gertner on it. We went to him and was like, yo, let's partner up and do it. He was like, nah, I'm done with it. You can have it. Just buy it from me.
Right.
So I was like, okay. But the only way I'm going to do it is if, we're on the lease full. It's not no sub-lease, no fake leases.
Us. So he set it up.
Yeah,
he has to be impressed with what y'all did. He might have been mad at first.
100%.
But he has to be.
He definitely expect for it to be like that.
Exactly.
100%.
So even if it's pissed off, he has to be proud of what y'all done.
So we had to go to the landlord, and we didn't have the financials. So we had no financials. We had just no menu. We had no chef.
That's where Steve comes in.
Right. Well, you know what? You had what's his name from Belvedere?
Lee
Ellis.
Right.
Lee Ellis came on board. So we went down, we sat down with Lee Ellis, and Lee Ellis walked into the office and was like, hey, look, these guys don't have the financials. They don't have everything that it takes in order to run it, but I really believe in them. I think you should give them a shot. And the landlord ran with it.
Wow.
And signed off.
Shouts out to Lee Ellis. That's power moves there.
And I mean, Lee didn't really believe in the project, to be honest with you.
But the relationship.
Right. Lee actually told Steve not to do it.
Wow.
Yeah, he told him not to do it. And he Steve. He actually told Steve not to do Empire too, because originally we brought Steve to do Empire, and Lee was the one who was like, "Yo."
But Steve was part of Empire.
He wasn't, because he listened.
He listened to Lee and backed out of it.
Right,
wow, crazy. So this is part of the people doubting you that you have to,
correct.
And you still press on.
Still pressed on. I mean, he told us all not to do it. Like, don't do it.
Right.
You know. So, but we went on and we did it, and it ended up being what it is today.
Right.
You know.
Today,
So,
man, that is crazy. I give y'all props, man. And then what do you feel about all the other black owners coming up and opening their own establishments? Because, I mean, let's be real. There weren't that many back in the day. I'm sure there were.
Yeah.
But I don't think, I told Steve this, there's a reason y'all are doing it.
Right.
There's finally a blueprint
for
on
sure
how to get it done. So do you think at least they should all come shake your hand? And
I mean, you know, I don't. You know, it's like, you know, at first it's like, man, everybody's
opening up something.
Everybody's doing our exact same concept. You know, it's like I'm seeing it a million places.
It had to piss you off to some degree.
And when you walk in, you see everybody, and they all have like grass on their walls, and you know, it's like, yo, is this all prosper? But you know, I get it. You know, everybody has to, you know, they're inspired from something or from somewhere. So now I don't get mad or I'm not upset. It's kind of like,
but you did at some point.
Yeah, definitely, for sure.
You're human.
Yeah, for sure.
And that makes sense.
But at the end of the day, you realize it don't matter if you're mad or not. Everybody's
it don't matter. They're gonna do it, and
right.
if you get sidetracked, you lose.
100%. 100%.
Stay on your craft.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, staying on that path, like another thing I want to discuss is I've seen some of the people who've worked for you elevate and other establishments take him, put him in more positions of power. And how does that feel to see the people you groomed leave you to go to other establishments?
That was another thing that's kind of, you know, it was hard to bite at first as well. You know, you see these people, you develop them and, you know, into this higher level from a, you know, a bartender, a waitress, you turn them into a management level, and then you see people come and recruit them.
And just recruit them. Just buy them out. I know that has to, I've seen it.
Right.
All right, people, we see it. All right, that's why I have to bring it up, because I know that has to stink to some
Well,
degree.
you know what? It's just, I look at it now as just putting out great products, right? So everything, whether it be, you know, you want to create a Prospect Park, or if you see somebody who works with me and you think he has that much value because the way I operate and run, the way we run our operations and our organization, that, hey, this person means a lot to you, then that just shows us what kind of product we put out, you know, because it's not just, you know, a manager. It's, you know, when you look at it, you see my photographers, you see my videographers, you see the DJs, you see
everywhere,
you know, the guy, you see Yemi, you know, he's, you know, working the front door, he's the man now.
Right,
so it's just, you know, this is kind of just the operation. This is the product that we create. You know, we put out good products regardless of what it is, you know.
And the people have to be fitted. I got to give you props on the people you find. I see Yemi. I'm just proud of that dude, man.
For sure.
I know you enough to know it takes a lot for y'all to just entrust him, you know.
100%.
That David says, period. Henry in his role, T-Nights in his role. But Yemi particularly, because Yemi is the money.
For sure.
We know we got to go to him to get paid.
Right.
So, you know, I just think it's an example of how you pick the right persons for, like, the different roles.
Yeah, he's came a long way, man. And he has so much, you know, more to conquer out there. So he has a bright future.
No doubt, man. What else do you have going on? What's the future? What is Junior working on?
We have a big project that we're working on right now.
Is that a new club? Is that a new restaurant?
It's a new eatery. It's a new eatery.
Okay.
It's a new eatery. And you know, I think everybody's gonna be wild when they see the designs and the concepts and, you know, everything that we put into it. But it is a new concept that's coming out. Can't just say the location, but, you know, it's coming out.
When
it'll be out shortly.
A quick walk. Shortly before the end of the year, beginning of next year.
Way before the end of the year.
Okay.
Yeah, it's coming out, like, you know, you'll be there soon.
I'm
so it's gonna be, you know, great food and, you know, just a great atmosphere to, you know, kind of hang out. I
got you. All your business ventures you have. Let me go down the list if I can even think of it. So you did Empire, did that, stopped that, then did Prospect Park, did the second Prospect Park.
No, we did Scott's Pavilion.
Scott's Pavilion, my bad.
Right.
We lost our money. Lost some money. Then go to Prospect Park.
Right.
That happens, and then you guys opened the second one pretty quick. That was
within about a year and a half, we opened up Prospect.
Was that always the idea?
No, not necessarily. I think it just kind of happened. You know, it was one of those things where the opportunity presented itself, and I just kept driving around Prospect, Willowbrook, and just looking, and we came up with that spot. So it all worked out perfect. But
somebody at some night had to say, you know, we could just buy this thing, right?
Right.
Was it you or Jonathan? I think it's Jonathan, but who was it that said, you know, we could just own this place? It had to happen at some point.
When you talking about Prospect South?
Yes.
Okay. We haven't bought the building,
but not buying it because the landlord.
Well, that's what we're working on that right now.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
we're working on that.
That's real ownership. Yeah. You own the real estate.
Yeah, definitely.
But to get your hands on the lease, like,
I mean, it was a mutual understanding of this is our next move.
Okay,
you know,
gotcha.
we both understand each other. Like me and him have never had like a crazy argument the whole entire time.
That's usually those are the relationships that work, that enjoy the most success. So you do Mercy,
right?
Mercy.
So we sell Mercy after Super Bowl.
Wow, make the money.
Yeah,
sell that joint.
Sell it while it's hot.
Engine room, right.
So the crazy part is we actually had Mercy before Engine Room, but it took us. Dealing with the city and the permits, it took us like 2.5 years to get it open.
Wow! So you're paying every month on
paying
this
every
stuff
month, tearing up our pockets. Did you make your money? Tearing up our pockets.
Did you make your money back?
Yeah, we did. With Super Bowl coming and all that, because by the time we were open up, Mercy's lease was almost over. You know, that's how crazy. Wow. Yeah, the lease. So it was crazy, but Super Bowl came and it blessed us. So we killed it. I think we were like the only ones who really won during Super Bowl.
Absolutely. I saw the collaborations and all that, but I knew what you had to pay for the talent.
Right.
And I'm like, we knew only a few people were going to win, but some people just do it.
Right.
Like there are events that I've seen you do where you just say, we got to do it for the city.
For sure.
And I know that you're notorious for that. People won't touch it because they can't even process the L.
Right.
You're like, I'll take the L.
Right.
If it becomes an L, but you try to make a profit too.
For sure. I mean,
you do that a lot.
I mean, I think it just and it's hard because we work with other promoters and they don't understand
that. Right.
So it's real hard for us to work with other promotional groups because they're like, yo, if we spend 5, then we need to make our money. Right. Nobody believes in losing money.
Sometimes you just gotta lose it so that you can last longer.
100%. But people aren't trying to lose their money at all.
I think one of the greatest nights y'all did is the Gatsby.
Right.
That really put a lot of things, from working with Jas and all of that,
For sure.
And growing and blossoming.
Right.
The people that y'all put in Gatsby.
Yeah, it was crazy. Everybody from Jay-Z to Justin Bieber to
everybody walked in that
Chris
building.
Brown singing on the mic,
taking pictures.
Right.
Was pleasant for me.
Right.
Let me just say that.
That was definitely our best club to date. That's the club that we
and that was your first time working with Mario.
That was my first time working with Mario. It was Drake at the time. We were walking in to talk more about the whole Prospect Park situation because honestly, Mario was the guy that we originally called to get because we were gonna buy we were trying to get Social Junkie at first.
Wow.
So I called Mario to get Social Junkie, and then I was like, hey, do you know the owner? So we go meet him, and of course he wants to be a part of the deal.
Right.
So we're moving forward on it, and while we're orchestrating the whole deal, then Mario mentions Steve. So Mario's actually the one who brought Steve.
The connection.
Yeah, Mario's the one who brought
Shouts
Steve.
out to Mario.
Right.
Damn, I didn't know Mario was doing big things in the background like that.
Right. I mean,
So it's not you going to Steve. I always thought that y'all just went to Steve, but Mario was really the reason.
Mario was the one who connected the whole thing, right?
Gotcha.
And originally we was just going in for investors. We weren't going in for partners.
I got you. Then he mentioned people that'll be potential investors.
Right.
And then you guys picked who you thought would be a better fit
100%.
for ownership.
And then that's when Steve came on board, and when after he came on board, he wanted to bring Rob on board as well.
Got you.
And Rob was kind of hesitant too. He didn't
do everything. I know Rob, and I like Rob for that. What I mean, be judicious. Everybody's different. You could see it. You may even think that you may win, but you just do what you can. Some people are different like
right,
that.
right. I mean, Rob definitely, you know, he does a great job at what he does. You know,
Right.
he's his own person.
He's amazing. Like,
for sure.
He's the guy, like, if you want your stuff to stay hot, he'll keep the concepts going.
Right,
You
right.
expand and branch on and whatever, but
Right.
he's the one, keep this hot.
For
Like,
sure, for
he
sure.
comes up with different concepts. So, shouts out to Rob Wright for sure. Man, well,
So we sell Mercy.
right. So, I'm trying to go down the chronology of clubs. Sell Mercy. What's
Right.
next?
And then Engine Room.
Got you.
And then you go on later to Turkey Leg Hut.
Turkey. Oh, so you are Turkey Leg. You're a part
Well,
of-
well, you know, not anymore, but we were. That was down the line of the product. We just both kind of decided to go different ways. But yeah, it was a great product. You know, they're doing their thing over there. Wishing the best, but we
Turkey
just
Leg is
mutually
it.
decided to
Hey,
separate.
Turkey Leg is out. There, you have to marvel at the success, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely. I mean,
Right.
it's a great product. You
Do
can't
you
knock
have
it.
any regrets not being a part of it?
No, I mean it was mutual. You know,
Okay.
it was mutual for everybody to kind of do their
That's weird
to
to
separate.
see you just. So everybody has the things they want to do and the things they don't want to do, and that's
Definitely,
just an
definitely.
example.
I mean, to be honest with you, I wish them nothing but success. I think they're going to continue to do great things, but we just mutually decided to go separate ways. So
Let's go. That
you know,
happens.
it
That
happens.
Hey, to each his own. The next thing you're working on, you mentioned it already, is the eatery. That's going to come out before the end of the year.
Correct. And we have a concept out in Dallas that we're working on right now too.
Growing and expanding.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I mean that's all we're doing. I think promoting and whether you're a promoter, whether you're a bartender, you're a waitress, I think that's all a stepping stone.
For what you should be wanting to do next.
Exactly. You shouldn't be promoting waitresses and bartending the rest of your life.
For the rest of your life.
I
What are
think
you doing? What is that
100%.
being a stepping stone to?
100%.
I
So
got you.
use that as leverage to go on to the next thing. But
And that's why I think you keep still promoting. It's fun for you. This is how you got to where you're at.
100%. I mean, sometimes I think about quitting all the times because I'm just
I
like,
can imagine.
the time and
That's
energy.
what got you to where you're at. You got to swag sometimes.
Yeah, and it's hard because you want to keep up with what's going on, but it's hard when you're trying to operate.
And you got to dedicate so much time.
100%. So, right now we're gonna do it for right now and keep it going. But I know eventually, we're going into these other markets and we're opening other concepts. So it's just not gonna be the time, for me to be.
You want to be the Lee Ellis who just owns it. And just show up when you want to.
100%.
He doesn't care what's going on weekly.
Right.
Show me your concept, make me some money, keep it going.
Right. And then we shut down Engine Room and Jet Lounge like 2 weeks ago.
Right. That's
So
what it turned into.
we're coming back with a crazy new concept because we opened Engine Room and Jet Lounge 5 years ago.
Right.
That's when we got into it. Well, 4 going on 5, but about 5 years ago.
And now your ideas have changed.
Exactly.
Right.
We've traveled the world. We've seen different things. So it's like having an iPhone. You got to get the iPhone 6.
6, right. It's
now
like
the 6
we
Plus.
can't keep staying on this old stuff.
And it had its run. It's just time to update.
Some people don't see it. Like, they just stare at it like, and it works for some people. Metropolis has been the same and stay there and keep going. But some people just got to change, especially with your audience. You know that you have to.
100%. With the group that follows us and what we have going on, they always want the new hottest product. So we're about to give them the new hottest shit.
Hey, man, hit them. We appreciate you. Man, I'm just proud of you. Keep doing your thing. You've done a lot for the city. And people acknowledge it, but I think you need to hear it sometimes. And keep being an inspiration because you're an example of how you can start with something and just grow.
Right.
At it, just staying with your principle and stuff like that. There's some people that want mentorship from you. I was just
it's hard, man. I respect all the young promoters from like Will and Mikos and Tay and Milan and Molo and forgive me, and Goodfellas, all the guys who came like after
y'all, right.
Yeah. So
and making moves now.
Yeah, I mean they're all doing their things, and I'm working with all of them.
That's good.
And
That's good. Keep that open mind.
Definitely. I think the best thing with me right now is just growing into a butterfly as far as just one being more humble. I have to just humble myself.
Got to sometimes,
you know, and
these youngins is hot.
Right. So I don't take a lot of things offensive like I used to. You know,
Right.
it's easier for me to talk to them because they're trying to build their brand, and I've already been there and I've done that. So if anything is like really an opportunity for me to like show them the ones that really want it and the ones that I feel like are really good people, I don't mind helping them, achieve or just give them, tell them about what I've done. That's it. So take it, do what you can with it. If you can't do nothing with it, okay, whatever. But if you can, let me just play my part.
Let me tell you what
100%,
some ideas.
One of the people that I really respect is Marcus from the Breakfast Club. I think a lot of people sit on him, but he was one of the first people out here to create a true,
original black-owned establishment
100%
in Midtown, downtown,
right?
For that
and
matter.
He doesn't
and stays under the radar. Don't say no attention.
Right.
Just good business.
100%.
And he keeps his people coming.
For him to get into the airport,
culture,
right. He has 2 spots in the airport, so when you
that's
look at
that's the kind of stuff
so I don't the things that I'm looking at and some of the things other people are looking at is like on 2 different levels.
Different levels,
so
you're trying to do this great night. I'm 100%. Trying to own an establishment in the airport.
Right. So I actually reached out to Mark because we never sat down and had a conversation. So I actually went to go sit down with him like a month ago and just we just talked, and he picked my mind and I picked his as far as just what we're working on, what we're trying to do, and just opening up that door.
At least, even if y'all don't work together, just sharing the ideas.
Yeah, and we have a lot of the similar, same things that we're trying to get done, and it was crazy to find out. So, that's somebody I could see myself, working with in the future. Definitely.
I'm glad you said that because I was going to ask you, like, who do you look forward to working with, and I'm glad you.
A lot of people growing up that I used to look up to, I really don't look up to anymore.
Damn example. Put it out there.
Man, it's just, and there's no diss, it's just that, once
you thought it was, you grow, you see it. It's like, it's not really what I thought it was.
Exactly. So, it's, we're just trying to take it to the next stage. And, even when you say, hey, being the #1 promoter, like, I don't care about being the #1 promoter. Like,
it's
cool.
You don't care, but it's arguable. There are people up there that the Kurtz, the Goodfellas, there's Rah-Rah, you know what I mean? There's you. And it's groups now, actually. Right. So you may not care, but I love what I do. I take the passion.
And I
do
too.
Do what you do, but I think it's important that we recognize
100%.
Who is top in the crowd.
Some people, they need it. Right,
so, they need to have it. I got you.
And I don't necessarily need it, right? Because
I hear you.
Not anymore, because remember,
back in the days,
back in the days, right? Back
I like
in the days,
grown and mature junior, but back in the day, you wanted
100%
smashing everybody.
It was crazy because Ball Alert put out that.
I saw the rankings.
Yeah, the ranking, right? And they, it was like, A-Life top 5 in the nation,
right? I think you wanted to see that. You're like, you can't tell me anything now. I'm good.
Right. I didn't even, to be honest with you, I didn't even know people knew who we were. To be honest with you.
For them to recognize.
For sure.
When you book the people, like, they pay
100%.
attention. It's really like, it's AG, it's y'all, it's my headliner, Supreme Team in LA, you know what I mean? Jacob York, like the few usual suspects, I think, nationwide. But yeah, I think Headliner's on top right now.
Yeah, keep it going. Keep it going.
Yeah. I try to pay attention to stuff like that, but keep doing what you do. If you're good at it, you elevate to that level.
Right, right, 100%.
And the space that you're going into now, you've had fun with it, and now it's just time to grow.
Right, it's time to get into real estate.
Yeah, I saw you making moves in the Fifth Ward,
Third Ward.
Yeah,
So we're just, we're investing And I mean, I think the blueprint is there, and all you have to do is follow it, right? You create businesses, you invest in real estate, right? Real estate inflates. So I think it's like it's already there for you.
Keep your money in the bank, put your money in real estate, and it keeps going.
It's so simple. That's it. You know,
it's
like
not really
it's
that
not
hard.
a secret.
Like that's the jewel, y'all. Like
it's not
take
a secret.
something from the interview. Listen to the people
like,
doing it.
Invest in your businesses, and after you invest in your businesses, take your profits, invest in the real estate, invest in the more businesses, and keep investing in real estate. Simple. It's real basic. It's not, it's nothing hidden.
Man, I appreciate you coming, dropping this jewels. Had to drag it out because I had Junior in the building. This is real special. What are your weekly events right now that you go to sometimes? When
I go to all my weeklies. I'm there.
You got something tonight. That's a great segue to talk about what's hot this weekend. But I want you to go first.
Tonight we're Clee on Thursdays.
Right.
Friday we're at where we at? Spiral
Stadium.
Right. And then the guys on Saturdays are split up. We have Ghost and we have Seaside. On Saturdays, and then Sundays we're at Eve and
Secret Sundays at Eve.
Secret Sundays and Bird called me and said that Revolver's coming back on Sundays too.
There it is. Shouts out to Lulu. Yeah, I think they got their stuff in order.
Right. So
Olu's been there managing their stuff and getting them right.
So we got like 6 spots. It's crazy. So and to be honest with you, all this happened. With us shutting. Well, we shut down Inchroom and Jet because we were stuck there for so long.
Yeah, and you lose that.
Yeah, you lose that.
Artistic
right. So it's kind of exciting to
go back out and find new venues.
Yeah. I haven't done that in a very, very long time. But then you lose.
That's when it seemed like you fell off. But, but it didn't fall off. It's just you gotta
never fall off, right?
You gotta nurture your products.
That's just what it is. So it's like we're in the mix and we're doing our thing. We're working very heavily with Goodfellas. They're doing their thing.
Shout out to
Bird. Red, the whole
Mike,
Red. All of them.
Red makes all that stuff work. Yeah, I get it.
Kind of.
We're not gonna get into it. When the Goodfellas coming to the podcast, clear the schedule.
Go ahead and get Bird and Red up there.
Yeah.
But shout out to my entire team. To be honest with you, that's the biggest thing.
Man. You don't have the team, you don't have the success. 100%. You can have the concepts all day. I see what Jacob does in the background. I see what Lyndon does in the background.
Right.
I see Yemi. I see Deja. Like I see, the people. I'm there in the back getting paid just like they are.
Right,
so I see the elements of what the people
everybody's doing, and I appreciate their loyalty because they all get recruited too. They tell me about it.
I know that they are.
So
the people still in your camp, there's more value. No disrespect to the others, but
right. And Jonathan, he's so quiet, and I just don't think he gets the credit, for.
That's why I keep mentioning his. Listen, you get all the clout.
Right.
I know.
Right.
That Jonathan's behind it. He's just so humble. He doesn't want no shine.
He doesn't want none of it. He wants no smoke.
Wants success. I know he's equal in everything that you do.
Right.
And he just, go talk to Junior. I'm cool with that.
No, 100%.
Shouts out to Jonathan.
Right.
I'm bringing him on. I definitely want people to hear and just get that perspective.
Man, he puts the whole, when you look at Prospect and you look at how much effort because he's not a chef, but he actually put so much effort into, doing the whole self-education that, he literally created the whole entire menu at Prospect by itself. Every aspect of it. I
heard him having an argument about the calories of some of the dishes. I'm like, who is into so much detail about this? So one meeting I had in Prospect, he was really having an argument with Henry over calories over a meal while he didn't want something.
And see, when you talk about having a good partner, he's one of the people that, you don't have to worry about if he's working or not.
Because he's always going to constantly working.
Right? He knows that I'm going to go to the left and he's going to go to the right, and we're both going to come back, and we're going to both have what we said we were going to have. Like, nobody's going to come empty-handed. And if somebody does, it's kind of like, hey, I messed up. Whatever.
This is the reason why.
Yeah, and it's no big deal. All right, bet. Cool, we're going to get it the next go-around because we hold it down so much. Right. You know what I'm saying? So, definitely shout out to him because, like I said, he's super quiet in the background, and
to
you know,
think that LaFamilia was doing a thing was really Junior, who was like, "Hey, let me in the door, bro.
For
I
sure.
have value."
For sure,
and then
for
that
sure.
collaboration comes to what it is today.
100%.
So these are the stories I want y'all to see.
Right.
That how these relationships come to happen, and the qualities that each people bring, and what it could bring from just, you know.
Right, right. And you know, another blessing for me is just being involved in all these, you know, when you're involved in a Greek organization, you got friends in
You learn
corporate
from
America.
that, right.
You know, like Teddy, he works for BP, so the way
Right.
he operates and the thing that they have going on in corporate America, you know,
You get some insight
I get,
from there.
I get all
you
of
work
it.
with TV Johnny,
Right,
and you get that
right.
from there.
And then
You
I got
work
my
with
little street
Uncle,
homeboy.
Right, you working with Uncle, so you got the athletes,
Right.
and you got your street guys,
Right.
and you just taking all that information.
Pieces of everything. Greek organizations, you know,
Right.
some
You
of the people
already
I'm
know.
friends with, and I hear their story. They're living in a whole different world with their
yeah.
family and their kids, and I get to hear their stories, and you know, it's enjoyable because I'm in this whole entertainment world, so, and that's a different world. So, you know, it just brings you back to reality to have friends that come from all different lives.
Walks of life,
Right.
But it's you being detailed enough to extract all that data from
Right,
all
right.
of these people.
100%.
That's what makes you special and good at what you do. So
Right.
yeah, man, props to you.
Thank you, brother.
I appreciate you
For sure. Thank you for having
I'm
me.
sure when the new spot opens up, I would like to have you back just
For
to
sure.
talk about
Spots.
it. Really. Spots. My bad. See, that's the growth.
Right,
We don't just
right.
want one.
Right.
He wants multiple spots. That's the segue into the events that we're going to focus on for the weekend. We got Clay tonight. We're going there from here more than likely.
Right.
Seaside on Thursdays. Alley Cat on Thursdays is a good look. We got Shrem Life, Jay Shrem, and friends at Vanity Fridays. You got Stadium Fridays for sure. Aura on Fridays. The Love Fridays at Address. Love Fridays at Revolver. I'm not going to get into it. Shouts out to Keith and Olu. I know you're laughing.
Keith and Olu, that's like some 1999 stuff, you know.
I love
God.
it though. Only the industry will notice and
Right,
care about
right,
that.
right.
But it's good to. I heard both sides of the argument, and you know,
You're right. It's one
Olu
of
got a DBA.
Right.
So it's like different. We talk about something totally different.
Shout out Keith, shout out Olu.
Olu, yes sir. Rodney J's birthday at Hanky and Palo Exchange Fridays, grown folks. Mel G's at Soho Fridays at Mercy. Saturday, we got Bow Wow at Dior. Ghost Bar on Saturdays is bonkers. Last week, they killed it. I heard the bar numbers. Shouts out to y'all. It's all good. We did all right, too.
Shout out to Ra. Shout out to Kurt.
Yes.
Bar Guarantee. I like Ra, man. That's
Yeah,
I didn't
on.
mention his name much, but you know,
Yeah,
great dude.
Come on, man. I can't wait to just have people see how he thinks
Right.
and works. He just
Cool dude.
He's always there partying, but his business savvy
For sure.
is crazy. Shouts out to Rara for sure. Saturdays at the Address. There's a special event at the Address. The Remy Producers season 6. Zaytoven, Paul Wall, Zero will be in the building Saturday at the.
Shout
Saturday
out
at
Victor
the,
M.O.
Yeah, always making moves. Victor, we need you on here, brother. H2O got brunch on Saturdays, Story Lounge on Saturdays. We go over to Sundays. Address on Sundays is official. Lituation at Seaside.
Right.
Jesus. Man, them boys, we are the season of doing big things. I gotta
Definitely.
give
Shout
them
out to
props.
B-Star and the whole season.
B-Star.
Camp, for sure.
B-Star, you get your own episode. We already
sure,
know.
for sure.
Because to see where he came from
Right.
to where he is now, I got the hat, Trillism. Come on, I'm repping,
Right.
man. You already know. There's a all-white boat party this Sunday. Carrie Nelson, Urban Night, Celeb said, hit him up for information. I may hop on that if my wife gives me clearance. Martini Sundays, and what else? Revolver's coming back on Sundays, and that's about it for Secret Sundays at Eve. I didn't forget, but that's pretty much it for this week. Next weekend, Avant and Brian McKnight at the Arena Theaters for those who like R&B. Definitely don't miss out on that. There's a new strip club called the Penthouse. You heard
Yeah, I've
about
seen the
this?
video. DJ Eric sent it to me. Right. That's crazy.
They're bringing 11 Miami to Houston.
Yeah.
If you ain't been,
Right.
I'm kind of excited. I want to see that. To spend that much.
They have Travis Scott on their first night.
On the first night,
right.
on August 24th. So looking forward to that. That's James Harden's weekend.
Yeah, it is. We was
mistaken.
talking about it. It's
Right.
this same Friday kickoff as the Harden weekend.
Harden weekend.
Right.
That's crazy. I don't think that was accidental. They know what they're doing, but it's way out there. But I'm interested to see that. I get excited off of new buildings for the city. Whatever it does, it's all good for Houston. But that's it, man. Appreciate y'all tuning in on this special edition of the inDmix podcast, Tastemakers edition. Junior, once again, I appreciate
Thank you, brother.
Much success. Keep doing what you're doing,
sure.
brother.
Appreciate the love,
Signing
brother.
out.
All right.
Yeah.
Bet.